to be honest. I was just looking for a good time. Immaturity is the word. What I got was a 12-year roller coaster ride where I soared higher than I ever thought possible and crashed more deeply, more hard than I ever knew was imaginable. My partner on this journey is Angelo, and I believe that Angelo and I made a contract, an agreement with each other somewhere in the cosmos at some point in time where we agreed to support each other on this journey. Angelo was a spirited, passionate, very charismatic, dynamic Australian raised in Italy. And his energy and joie de vivre matched mine perfectly. In fact, we were a very formidable, powerful team. Like I said, when we met, I was just looking for a good time. But 6 months later, when he asked me to marry him and live in Australia, it took about that long for me to say, why not? Every bone in my body was screaming, no, don't do it on my wedding day. Once again, actually, while that was on the surface, I knew there was something deeper. There was something there for me to experience. And that was the voice that I listened to and I trusted. We had the type of marriage that people would look at and hold as an ideal, something that they would like to have as well. My dear friend Jen was witness to some of our adventures and saw those qualities. We believed anything and everything was possible. We would stay up late at night drinking wine, smoking a little hooch, talking about our dreams, brainstorming, and we were just right there, right, supporting each other all the way. I thought, wow, I never wanted to be married in the first place. Why would I? I never saw any good examples of it. And I thought, ooh, partnership can be fun. And so, as we went about our lives, we found that we inspired other people with our enthusiasm. With no more than a few $1,000s and some charm, we managed to buy our dream home. And subsequently, we inspired many of our friends to do the same. One day, on a whim, I bought a motorcycle for Angelo, and I brought it home for him. He hadn't really asked for a motorcycle, or really said he wanted one, but it seemed like a fun idea at the time. And he embraced it wholeheartedly. He got his license, he fixed up the motorcycle, and he learned to drive it. And along the way, he inspired 4 or 5 of our friends to follow their dreams, their Easy Rider dreams, and do the same thing. So when the time came for us to go back to Australia, which was always the plan, and we got there and couldn't find the work that we wanted living at the beach, he turned to me and he said, honey, you want to start a technology company? I said, why not? Then with the marriage, sounds like fun. And really, my intention with that was to have the opportunity to build a business, but more importantly, it was to help my beloved achieve his dreams and goals. There was a third component about within that I forgot along the way. So, like everything else we did in life, we dove right in. And we knew nothing about the laws, we knew nothing about taxes, we knew nothing about running a business, really. All we had was our excitement and our passion and our commitment. And it worked. Go figure. Who knew? Sometimes ignorance really is bliss. It allows us to go for things that our logical mind says, there's no way we can do that. So we powered into town with our American sensibilities, our sense of customer service, and we just blew them away, to be quite honest. It was like taking candy from a baby in that way. We both stretched in ways that we never knew was possible. I threw myself into this business, doing things that I never in my life wanted to do or would ever do for anybody else. Processes and procedures, I thought were really words. Ugh, I didn't want anything to do with that. But when it was our baby, then it was important. We gathered a small, loyal team around us. We happened to have perfect timing on the Gulf Coast or in Australia where they were. creating a technology hub where we happen to live and work. We had corporations coming to us, wanting advice and information. We had a whole group, a whole community of other startup business owners that were there right alongside with us. They were our vendors, our suppliers, they were our clients, we were their clients. It was a heady time. We would work 12 hours a day and go to the pub at night to network, to talk about everything we did during the day, and to brainstorm with other people about ideas and how to do things bigger and better and solve problems. It was quite a boys' club, I have to say, and I was well accepted. I was married, I was safe, and I learned how to deal with the Australian culture, and men especially. And really, at the end of the night, there was no child to go home to. There was no spouse, because he was usually right by my side. So our time was our own, and our business was our baby. After 3 years, though, the cracks started to show from a lifetime of being in survival, 3 years of being in survival mode, 3 years of stress, of unhealthy behaviors, of trying to achieve. And it was a balmy night in February in Australia that our lives changed completely with 7 individuals. Our dear friend, business mentor, guide, marriage counselor, Daryl, had a birthday party. There was a couple dozen of the regular cast of characters around. Nothing unusual about this particular night. We drank like it was the last drink of our night, of our lives. We told stories, made ourselves bigger, smarter, more attractive than we really were. And then at the end of the night, someone had the great idea of going back to our friend Daryl's place for a nightcap, because that's really what we did at that time. So we get back to Daryl's place, and the conversation turns around to our favorite subject, ourselves. And Daryl was wonderful in that way. He loved us both dearly, and he took on the role as counselor, as business advisor with glee. And I will forever be indebted to him for that. So somewhere along the evening, we got into conversation, we got into who did what, who's right, who's wrong, how it all went. Doesn't matter at this point. But at one point, Angelo said 7 simple words. I created IT Squad. You only have. In that moment, all the wind was taken out of me. It was like an uppercut to the sternum. Desperate to have his reality be different than mine, desperate for him to align himself with my reality that I had created, I asked him to say that again. And in his wine-filled confidence and pride, he said, I started IT Squad. You won't. Again. And I went numb. And I got cool. And I was speechless. And then a fire started in my belly. And it rose up into my chest, to my heart, where there was a door. It's not shut. I looked at my friend Daryl, and I swear he looked just a little scared. And he looked at Angelo, and he looked at me, and he said, I love you. Now get out. And so we did. And on that ride home, I didn't speak. I didn't move. I was afraid that the primal instinct within myself would get unleashed, and I would kill him. And it's funny, but it's true. And for the first time, he didn't say a word either. We drove up to the house. We got out of the car. He opened the door, keys. I took the keys from his hand. I got in the car. I put the car in reverse. I stopped the car. I grabbed my mobile phone and I flipped it out as hard as I could. And I drove.